Alrighty, welcome and good morning, everyone. So today's topic we are going to go over is cube and cube root. Alrighty, so today's concept we're going to talk about it: cube and cube roots. Cube and cube root. So last session we talked about a square and square root. So just like we took notes on that one, and same thing we're going to do on this one. Get a notebook or a piece of paper, so take some notes so that way it makes more sense to you guys. So what is the cube means? First of all, let's see what is the cube means, and then we can look at it cube roots next. So the cube is our simple name or special name for the exponent of 3. Cube means exponent of 3 or power raised to 3. Like for example, if I say 2 cubed, this little 3 on top is called cube. So if I say that cube, what I say is like 2 times 2 times 2. So you repeatedly multiply the same number 3 times. Just like a square, we multiply the number 2 times, but for the cube, we multiply same number repeatedly for 3 times. So that's what basically the cube means. Okay? Now, so if I take some other number, let's see, I'm going to take another one, and I want you guys to put them in the chat box and see what it is. What is the cube of that? So tell me, what is the 3 cube? Put them in the chat box. So 3 cube means 3 times 3 times 3, which is also 27. And this is also 8. The same way we did the like square root, we can do cube and cube roots too. So the cube root is inverse of the cube. So let's say if I write it cube root like this, I'm going to write it. So watch this. So if I take that 8, if I take this 8, or the 2 cube is 8, when I write that one in inverse, I'm going to write it this way. Cube root of 8. You see this little 3 inside this little sign, the radical sign, that tells me cube root. Okay, so that is going to be 2, like going backwards. If I take this 8, cube root is 2. Okay, like that we'll do it. Okay, now since you know cube root of 8 is 2, I want you to guys tell me what is cube root of 27. Put them in the chat box. Yes, cube root of 27 is 3. Okay, so just like it, whatever the 2 cube is 8 and cube root of 8 is 2, like that. It's just inverse back and forth. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write it down some cubes and cube roots, and just like you remember or you memorize the squares, I want you to guys memorize the cube and cube roots too. So that way it's really helpful when you do the math problems on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, so get a little piece of paper or notebooks, your notebooks, and write it down this, so that way you have a pretty good idea when you solve these type of questions. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to write a number. Let's see, I'm going to put this one here. Number and cube, and then cube root. Okay, so first let's take 1. First number, let's take a 1, and then we can look at it, all those things. 1, cube of 1 means 1 cube, right? Which means 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. And the cube root means you're going to write a cube root like this. The symbol of cube root is this. And then 1, that's going to be 1. See the 1 back again, it came back in here. And then let's say number 2 cube, just 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And then if I take the cube root of 8, that's going to be 2. Okay, so I'm going to give you some numbers up to whatever we needed. So please take notes on this one, so that way you have a pretty good idea when we do these questions. It makes more sense to you. Next number is 3. Next number is 3, and then 3 cube, it's 3 times 3 times 3, which is 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. And then going backwards, cube root of 27 is 3. Next, number 4, 4 cube, 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 4 is 64. Same way, cube root of 64 and 4. Please memorize these numbers, just like I kind of like, I'm not looking at any calculator and for this math, because I'm doing it because I memorized it. I know these. So same way, I want you to get familiar with these numbers too. And 5 cube, 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. And then cube root of 125, that is 5. Next, number 6. 6 cube is 6 times 6 times 6, which is 216. And then cube root of 216 is 6. 7 cube, 7 times 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49, and 49 times 7 is 343. And then cube root of 343, it's 7. So if you know these numbers, then in the questions you can see that, and then you can answer them right away, pretty simply. Okay, so that helps you guys to understand better. Okay, let's look at the one more number, number 8. 8 cube, 8 times 8 times 8, it's 512, and then cube root of 512, it's 8. Okay, so when you memorize these numbers, so what happens is, like when you're doing some questions, you see it 125 cube root. Since you know already, you don't need to worry about that much, and then you look at the answer is 5. Oh yeah, I know the S number, so you can memorize it really fast and then answer them quickly. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time. Just go ahead and then copy this one.
Carolina works at a museum. She is looking online for a storage case for some large fossils. She wants the case to have volume of 27 feet. Carolina would like to have the case to be a cube. What edge length should the case have?
Awesome. So the questions on the cube and cube roots is going to be like this. They're always the questions on the volume. So it's a volume is given to you is 27 feet cube. So if it is a cube, first thing I need to look at the question and then see what is important information. So what I'm going to do, I'll take a highlighter, and then she's looking for storage, some large fossils. She wants to case a volume of 27. That's one important piece. And also it says cube. Okay, so what does that mean? So that means the volume is given to you. Let's say if the side length of a cube is, let's say the cube is like this. Okay, so the side length of this one is, say, S, like side length is S. So the volume of a cube is going to be volume of a cube is S cube. Okay, side length times side length times side length will give you the volume of that. But they give you the volume already, which is 27 feet cube. So that means s cube is 27 feet cube. You understand that? Because they gave you the volume. But since it is a s cube, so I need to find out what is the side length. So what I'm going to do, I'll do the inverse. The inverse of a cube is cube root. Okay, so the inverse of the cube is cube root. So what I'm going to do, I am going to take the cube root on both sides. So I'm going to take cube root of s cube and also cube root of 27. Okay, so when you cube and cube root cancels out, you just get the s equal. What's the cube root of 27? Look at your chart and tell me what is the cube root of 27. Put them in the chat box. That's it. You guys got it. See, if you know these numbers, then you so easy. That's 3. And then that is what? Feet. So the side length of the cube is going to be 3 feet. You see that? That's how the questions are going to be asked on this type of questions of cube and cube roots. All right, so I want everybody to try this question and write it down on your piece of paper. Write it down on your piece of paper and then tell me your answer in the chat box. Okay, put the answer in the chat box. Use the previous question if you needed some help with it. Good work. Alrighty. So x cube equals 343. So we're going to use that one. X cube equal 343. And then we can write it one more step. I can write it down. Take cube roots on both sides. Take cube root on both sides. Okay, so when I take the cube root on both sides, so what I'm going to get is x here in this side, and the other side is going to be cube root of 343. But if you look at the table that we go through already, so I look at my table, and then 343 gives me 7. So I'll just go back here, and then I'll just put my answer is x is 7. That's it. That's simple. These questions are, if you know them. If you don't memorize them, and you have no idea what is going on, x is 7. That's it. That's simple. Now, just a little bit of extra step, but in this case, you have 8 over 27. We'll follow the same steps. Find the 8 separately, 27 separately, like numerator separately and denominator separately. So then you'll get the answer on that. So go ahead and use the chat box and answer this one for me. Now let's look into this question. Even though looks like a fraction, you don't do a lot of work on this one. So pay close attention so it makes more easier. So it's m cube is 8 over 27. And then you find the cube root on both sides. So then m is going to be cube root. Cube root means you have to write that little 3 in there. That's how you know it's a cube root. 8 over 27. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do separately. That means cube root of 8 over cube root of 27. Look at your chart. What is the cube root of 8? 2. And cube root of 27? 3. Answer is 2/3. That's it. That's simple, these type of questions. So we'll continue the second part next tomorrow. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.